Okay, let's dive into a puzzle that happens inside your head literally every single day. I'm talking about that mysterious and, let's be honest, sometimes frustrating relationship between what you think and what you can actually say. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That feeling when an idea is crystal clear in your mind, but the words just, they won't come. It's right there on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't seem to grab it. So frustrating. And then, of course, there's the total opposite. You start talking, maybe you're not even sure what you're going to say, and then, bam, in the middle of a sentence, the idea clicks. The act of speaking itself helps you figure out what you really think. Well, this isn't just some weird quirk of being human. Nope. It's a really deep scientific puzzle. What is the actual relationship between that silent world inside our heads and the words we use to navigate the world outside? For decades, the debate has kind of gone like this. Is thinking basically just talking to yourself? A silent language? Or is it something else entirely? Something deeper, a kind of pure meaning that words are just our best attempt to capture? So today we're going to explore a new model that gives us a really powerful and, I think, super intuitive way to understand this whole thing. It reframes the question, it's not about software, it's about energy. And it all starts with the analogy of a dam. Now, to get this, we just need one key term from the science here, residual strain. Okay, I know it sounds super technical, but just think of it as the potential energy that's building up in your brain's networks. It's basically neural tension. So, the absolute best way to get a handle on this whole residual strain idea is to picture a giant hydroelectric dam, but inside your head. Seriously, this one analogy is the key that unlocks this entire theory. All right, here's how it works. See all that water building up pressure behind the dam? That's potential energy. In this model, that pressure is thought. It's this internal, formless, powerful potential. Then you open the dates, and that water comes rushing out. That's kinetic energy. And that structured, powerful flow, that is language. So you see, it's not about two separate things. It's just one single process, turning stored pressure into expressive power. Let's look at how this analogy can actually explain different states of mind. This model gives us a spectrum. On the one hand, you've got high saturation. The dam is totally full. That means you have a ton of pressure, but very little flow. That's the state of deep thought, right? The idea is there, but the words aren't coming out. On the other hand, the gates are wide open, low saturation. The pressure drops because it's being converted into this powerful flow. And that is articulate speech, potential energy transformed into expression. And here's the thing, this powerful dam analogy, it's not just a cool metaphor. It's actually the public-friendly version of a formal scientific theory. The theory is called the Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM for short, and it makes a really bold claim. It says that pretty much all mental activity, from a tiny little sensation to complex language, is all just a result of these physical, energy-based dynamics of strain and flow. And this quote really nails the core principle. The model says that thought and language aren't separate apps running in your brain. No, they're just different phases, kind of like ice and water, of the very same fundamental flow of energy. Now, what makes this model so interesting is that it doesn't just throw out everything we know about neuroscience. Actually, it's the opposite. It provides a new, unifying language for things that scientists are already seeing in the lab. And this is where it gets really cool. The BKM's ideas about strain dynamics, they're not just some abstract concept. They actually map directly onto real, established neuroscience concepts like brainwaves and network states that get measured every single day. Take a look at this table. It basically shows a direct translation. Let's look at the top row. High residual strain, that's our full dam, right? Well, that maps perfectly to what neuroscientists call low cortical excitability, the exact brain state you need for deep thought. Now jump to the bottom row. Low residual strain, that's our water flowing. It maps to high excitability and fast gamma synchronization, the state your brain is in when you're talking. See, it's a unified theory. But the explanatory power here doesn't stop with just thought and language. It actually extends to one of the biggest mysteries of them all, consciousness itself. The very same principle of energy flow applies here. When you're in a deep sleep, there's hardly any flow. Connectivity is just local. Think of it like the dam is closed for maintenance. Then, when you're dreaming, the flow increases, and it starts connecting emotional and visual centers. And finally, when you're awake, the energy flow is at its absolute maximum, creating this global connectivity that links everything, thought, language, and action together.
Okay, so let's tie all of this together. What's the big takeaway here? What does it really mean to look at our own minds through this lens of energy dynamics?
It all comes back to this one powerful idea. Thought and language are not two different things. They are just alternating phases, two sides of the same coin, part of a single flow of energy and information moving through your brain. So here's the bottom line. The next time you finally find the right words for a really complex thought, remember, you're not just translating it. You are taking part in a physical process. You are literally opening the gates and converting the stored potential energy of that thought into the kinetic, structured power of language. And that leaves us with one last, mind-bending question to chew on. If thought is potential energy and language is kinetic energy, then what does that imply about consciousness itself? Maybe it isn't a thing at all, but simply the state of the flow.